Good. Whatever. Morning. Sorry, just a little tired today. Yeah, what else is new? There we go. Hey, Edwin. Good evening. How are you? Hey, Peter. What's up? All right. Sorry, just listening in on my furnace. Gonna need some proper rest. Feeling unwell. Oh no, not much. Good. I guess it's not bad, right, Peter? Sorry, Edwin. Hopefully you do get some rest and recover. Are you feeling like a flu or cold or something like that coming on, or just exhaustion wearing you down? Tom, what's going on, brother? Let's lay down tape. Let's get some scribing done. An interesting experience, which I'll talk to you guys about in a little bit. Yesterday, where we went to, my wife and older daughter and I, last night. But before we do that, I just want to, I know Tim listens in every now and then, Child of Mecca, and I was watching him last night. But before then, Tim and I haven't talked in God, person to person in many a year. Probably since 2019, 2020, might have even been longer than that, when we actually met in person at Anime NYC. Anyway, so I think the conversation that came up on Thursday was just something that we wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about afterward. And it was good. We talked about that, got some stuff cleared up. Guess it's actually kind of also good just to hear a little bit about the views of our live streams, which is great. And then finally just caught up on family stuff and other conversations. It was great. 25-minute conversations. I was driving home. Just Tim's Tim's a good guy. Feel it's better to breathe plastic than the air outside today. Likely that's the case, Tom. Hey, Kevin. Good morning. How are you, my friend? Anyway, had a good conversation with him, which is always nice. One of the things that I think is I've always appreciated about Tim, and I've said this multiple times, it's Tim has the tendency to take up his valuable time. And I know that he's trying to build up a business out of this thing, but God bless him for that. But he'll take time out of like what he's working on and answer questions in a way that is very thoughtful and detailed. And I think he kind of did the same thing yesterday when we kind of talked. I think it was like, it was a good conversation. Anyway, I appreciate that. And watching last night, fucker didn't get anything done on modeling that I got there late, probably the last 45, 50 minutes of his live stream, but he was just talking, Juanito, good morning. What's going on, man? He didn't disclose any admissions on my part, did he? No. Admissions on my part? I have no idea what you're talking about. That is too far out. Need to bring this in. All right. Anyway, I've always appreciated um, Tim's ability to do the level of work he does and still stay. And I'm going to say this as sort of a man of the people. I appreciate that a lot. And whatever his future endeavors are, and may, if the hobby becomes his thing financially, I wish him all the best with that. Just got to get this bottom end just a little bit, may that always be the case. Anyway, there we go. Got that line nailed down. Not much, lots of heat and Sahara dust and work. So hey, first of all, Juan, how you feeling? I'm assuming everything is much, much improved. At least I hope it's the case. Secondly, heat in Puerto Rico. I find that very hard to believe. I remember when my wife was like, let's go to Puerto Rico in the summer. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Well, I didn't use those exact words, but Puerto Rico in the summer. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to the day I do have a chance to get down to Puerto Rico, not only to see Juan, but just to actually see the beautiful land, and to enjoy warm climate, particularly in the winter. Tony, good morning, brother. What's going on, man? Health-wise, yes, much improved, more better days than bad days. God bless. I'm very happy to hear that one. I will be your tour guide. I love it. Juan, are you still engaged in the work that you were doing while you were still up here? I'm assuming the answer to that is yes. Let's see. Hi, Kevin. I kind of admitted to being almost as old as you while explaining the George is old running joke, but threatened to. It's a hole in all his socks if he disclosed that moment of weakness. I don't think any of that came up in our conversation. I mean, age did come up in conversation, which I think is good. Part of it is, I think, like I was saying to you guys yesterday, or a few days ago, you get to a point in your life where, it doesn't matter. As you become more comfortable in your skin, you can start to accept what you like and what you don't like and call out the bullshit a little bit more. So from that perspective, I kind of brought up a couple things, and I also kind of just said, in the end, our live streams are kind of cool too, because, as I said to you guys multiple times, my house, my rules, we had a good conversation about that and what that means in terms, especially when you get older, how you can apply that a little bit more or better. I think I saw something from Tony. Not much. Hoping the smoke is it still pretty bad, Tony? Yeah, same company. Good. Glad to hear that one. Hold it. So up here, I think it's still problematic, but that oranginess, that haze, that made it feel like we were in the middle of what is this somebody said? Fuck, there was a movie reference that they gave. In any case, that oranginess that was out is gone, which is a blessing. Was watching your paint day 2 video when this live stream started. My paint day 2. Comfortable fireside chat. Tony. Oh, Tony. Yeah. I like watching Tony's stuff a lot because it's comforting, as you just said. Now, having said that, I haven't watched the most recent one, but that is on the agenda. I actually think we need more stuff like that. Okay, there we go. Let's move this one just a smidge up this way. Just a smidge out this way. There we go. That's too much. Let's do some measuring. Sorry, my friends, give me a second here. No. All right. Yes, it has been yesterday. It was manageable, but not great. Yeah. Have you not looked outside? I have looked outside. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not as bad as it was Wednesday. Wednesday was like, holy shit, we're on a sci-fi set. So we're just doing social media for it. Oh, nice. It's orangey right now. Yeah. Wow. I'll take another look. I did not see that this morning. Went outside. You're behind. Probably. Oh, hold a second. Gotta say this. Good morning, Emma. How are you? I haven't built a kit in more than a year. That's not good. What are you doing for a hobby, Juan? What are you doing to enjoy time for yourself? And Emma, what are you doing today? Doing anything special? Gonna have some fun, hang out with Dad. Are your grandparents still around, or have they left? Been working too much on racing RC cars. Which was my main hobby when I was here many. Yeah, I remember the RC thing because you also did the one. Didn't you also do some of the 4x4 stuff? The little Tamiya cars. Into RC. Grr. It's gonna be repair here, that's for sure. There's a chipped corner. Good. Nice. But no track here for that. Oh, really? Nobody? Wow. Dude. That's too bad. I actually kind of wonder what Mike and Kim did with their track. Needs to come up a bit. I may end up in the long term putting in a little greebly bit in this rectangular area anyway after I fix this. I just don't know what to put. I could put little mouse ears or something. Wouldn't that be nice? Build a track, yeah. And Mike can sell me his old track. Yeah, I would reach out to him. You know, if they're not using it, I don't think I've ever heard him say since they moved up to upstate New York that they're doing anything with that. Well, off into the city with family. Nice. Tom, have fun today with family. That's awesome. Laters. Bye, Emma. I don't think I've heard him say anything about 4x4 tracking. I mean, hopefully Mike will be on at some point, but I believe most of the stuff that's going on up there's some hobby stuff, there's some gaming stuff that's going on. I'm not sure how well models are working for them, or RC or any of that stuff. But yeah. Very happy for today. It's going to be kind of a low key day, which I'm excited about. I will probably end up doing a little bit of model work at some point through the day. Possibly continue with this, working on the motor, something that requires a little less, when I'm a little less engaged in conversation, would allow me to get some things done. So a little bit. I think I'm just going to stick with that right there. It's fine. So get some stuff done that maybe not having, just kind of bouncing between the live conversation and the model might make it easier. I'm also very seriously debating opening up the head as well. I just don't remember if I start kind of cutting into this thing to open up the head. One, how am I going to resecure it? And then two, am I going to do any damage to anything glued in on the sides? I legit don't remember, I guess I can go take a look at some photos, but what that'll mean in terms of like all the stuff that's been glued down to support the walls and all that other garbage. I miss our old build days so much. Was the most fun and motivated me to build. Yeah. I'm happy that I have my IPS thing, the Patriot chapter thing, or Patriot Scale Modelers thing is great. We have a lot of great people and that kind of thing. But as the chapter president, part of the problem with it is that for me, there's a lot of business that happens. So, kind of making sure that, I'm going around talking to everybody, meeting new people, just catching up with just about everybody, and then getting ready for the meeting section. It's not much, but I'm at the front doing all that stuff. So there's a lot less of the just sitting down and just hanging out. And that's the thing that I miss most about the turn 4 sessions. Is that, I could just hang out with guys like you, Juan, with Tom, with so many people. I haven't seen Melissa since probably 2020. How many others? Jeez, yeah, like so many people. And it's not like we were all like, like psychotically close friends, but when we came together, it was comfortable, and I enjoyed that so much. And it was just so low key. Obviously Mike and Kim had to work it, but from our perspective, every day he's hustling. Absolutely. As I've said this before, you want to have a successful chapter in IPMS, you can't think like a modeler. You have to think like a CEO. You have to. Got to think like a business person, salesperson, take your pick. Yep. Hustling. One of our members wants to buy a table at PatCon. And what he wants to do is set up and I got to ask him about this. It's like, because he's just done, if anybody knows what the Pan Mass Challenge is, the Pan Mass Challenge is it's a road cycling event that goes from Hopkinton, Massachusetts, all the way to Provincetown on the Cape. So it's a couple hundred miles. It's a 2-day affair. It's incredibly popular up here, at least in the Northeast. Extremely well known, and all the proceeds that are generated go to the cancer research. So our member George he's I guess on a team. Great for him, and it's hard to get to have teams. It's they've got limitation in terms of space. How you going to fundraise? There's a lot of the business end of it, which I don't know enough about, but it seems like it's a lot of hoops that you gotta fuck cancer. Absolutely right. Isn't that right? Right, Juan? Yeah, fuck cancer. By the way, Juan, can I just say real first of all, guys, just so you know, Juan is a cancer survivor, and God bless. Every time I hear from Juan, my heart just kind of flutters a little bit positively because it just means like another guy beat the shit out of that sickness. You got to think like a Gunpla Senpai. Remember? Oh yeah, dude. Do I still have those? Yeah, it's got to be on one of my carrier boxes. Juan. Oh God, yeah. That's why I love having like the boxes that I carried to the shows, because it's just perfect place to slap all those stickers on. Anyway, so George has been doing. He's part of the Pan Mass Challenge, and he reached out to us and said, "Hey, can I also buy a table?" Now, normally when vendors buy tables, it's to sell their wares, right? But he wants to buy a table to have a place where people can learn a little bit more about the cancer research stuff, and he's going to be manning that through the day. So I was talking. This came up through our vendor coordinator Mike in our club, and he said, and as we're talking about, I'm like, why don't we also like do some kind of a sponsorship thing where we find a good cause, whether it's cancer research or a really good cause that all of our members would approve on, nothing political, that we could maybe partner with or donate to, a certain portion of our funds. I think that would be I'm going to say this from two ways. One's very positive, and it's the 99% of it, and one's going to sound like it's negative. By doing so, I think we actually do good for our community, and I think that's excellent. At the same time, it also adds look, anybody who does any of this, advertising, hey, we support cancer research, they're doing it because they're trying to build their credibility or their partnership with an organization in a way that benefits them too. I'm not going to lie. I think that would be beneficial to their partnership with an organization in a way that benefits them too. I'm not going to lie. I think that would be beneficial to our part. It would be incredibly beneficial to an organization. So let's say we have like the Dana-Farber Institute, donating to them, or, donating to Boston Children's or something. Great. Anyway, I agree 100%. F cancer. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And Tony's dad. Exactly. Fighting the good fight, right, Tony? All right. We now have lines laid down. Let's carve. What did I do? 0.1? I think it was 0.1. Yeah. Fuck cancer indeed. I don't think there's anybody in our lives that hasn't. I don't think any of us have not been touched by that, right? To some degree. There we go. That piece of tape moved. Interesting. He seems to be. Yeah, that's a good thing. Nah, I support who I support because I lost my dad to cancer, not for what exposure it might get me regarding charitable research. Oh, no. Again, let's put it this way. What I'm saying about that, Peter, I just want to make sure I'm clear. I got a touch in the ass. Yeah. At least now cancer is not automatic death sentence. Now they are finding new ways to treat it. Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Peter, what I guess what I'm getting at is, look, there's always some residual benefit to donating to these organizations, right? Always some residual benefit. And what I'm getting at is that I think we can benefit from that. But the most important thing is, let's find an organization like I think it's a great idea. I think I'm going to talk to George about it. It's like, George, what would be a good, George Caswell is our member who's doing a lot of this. How can we contribute to, or who should we be contributing to? Like a portion of our funds, or maybe if we do a raffle or something like that, take those funds and donate them. It is a humanity contribution. Yes. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm looking at. And it's like, and I think to myself, it's like, guys, here's the thing. Patriot have been remarkably blessed I've been president now for over 4 years. And in that time, we have had a bank account that does not want to come down. And we've got a pretty sizable nest egg for a club that we are. I'm trying to find ways of shrinking it, So when people come up and say, hey, can we go out and do this event? It's like, how much is it? Yeah, sure. Let's just do it, Or if we want to buy models for our raffle or for the PatCon raffle, supplies, any of that stuff, we take in, between our monthly raffle, we've got just shy of 80 members now, at approximately 15 to 20 bucks a pop. PatCon is a money generator. When you've got a lot of that, and it's like, let's do something with it that will benefit either our members or the greater community. And that's kind of like when George brought up that my first thought was, why don't we participate in this in some fashion? Anyway, so I talked to our vendor coordinator, Mike, and he seemed to be on board with it too. So, it probably won't happen this year because we're too far into this year's program. But I do think it is something that I would like to add to what we do. All right. No commentary. I think I've got all the lines done. Sorry, guys, give me a moment here. Just doing. And then I'm going to just clean it out real quickly. Then we're going to round the corners. Okay. But first, let's get some coffee in. All right, now we're going to round. Hopefully we won't get too much ramping. Oops. The hardest thing about rounding a corner is turning the model and not losing your line. There we go. There we go. So in addition to talking to Tim yesterday on my drive home, I also had a chance to talk to my sister, which I haven't done in a couple of weeks. Yeah, since the passing of our cousin. And it was nice to catch up with her. She's over in Oklahoma, or she was in Oklahoma for like a few days. I'm thinking to myself, Oklahoma, and she's like, oh yeah. So my sister, I love film. My sister's on a different plane altogether, probably like a couple of magnitudes more into it than I could ever possibly be. One, we both studied film, but she actually pursued it. And her knowledge of film is absolutely incredible. She's been involved in film festivals in Los Angeles, goes to like screenings of of true motion pictures, true film, not cinema, not just the schlocky movie stuff. So her knowledge of that, her history of it, we do have a very positive or similar parallel in that, for us, some of the best Hollywood stuff that ever came out consistently was from from basically the late 60s through the early or mid 70s. Just love that time frame. Anyway, so we talked a little bit yesterday. So she went to Oklahoma because first of all, there's a production designer by the name of Dean Tavoularis, a Greek, who worked on many of the films through the 60s and 70s and 80s, including Bonnie and Clyde. He did the production design for the Godfather films, and he did the work with for Rumblefish, and the author of Rumblefish and The Outsiders, S.C. Hinton, lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So my sister was like, I want to go out there, kind of take a look to see what's out there. I heard it's a great place to visit. So she went and hit up a bunch of places that touched on The Outsiders and Rumblefish. And then just drove up and down between, I think it was Tulsa and I can't remember the other city, but she did the Route 66 trip. So we just talked about that, her trip out there. She sent me some photos. Fabulous stuff. Anyway, let's see. Tom Grossi did his 30 in 30 month of fundraising for St. Jude's Children's Research. Really? He never even told them. They just got an anonymous check one day. Sorry, when Tom Grossi did his 30 in 30 month. Nice. Just gave him a check. Good. And that certainly sounds like something that I would like to do exactly that. Just collect some funds and donate it. But I'd like to find out where we want to do that. And I want to talk to somebody about that. And that'll probably end up being, our guy George. Yeah, I'm gonna actually next time I see him, I'm gonna talk to him about that. In fact, I may even email him. I may just. Okay, this is now done. I'm just going to do one more quick pass. Hey, Joe. Good morning. How are you? Well, gonna go play some games. Have a nice. I miss you. Yeah, I miss you too, Juan. Take it easy. Have fun, my friend. Juan, just one last question. Any plans on coming up this way anytime soon? I'm sure it's not a convenient thing, but I'm just kind of curious. No smoke signals or carrier pigeons this time? Must be important. I'm functioning. Nice. No smoke signals or carrier pigeons this time. Must be important. Not sure I understand that, but okay. I might have missed something, or it might have been some part of our conversation I just spaced out on. Okay. So we got that scribing done. So we now have those two sections boxed in. What I'm going to do is now kind of come up with a plan for how we're going to add riveting. I want to, since I have break from work. Oh, that'd be nice. Well, definitely want. If you make it up here, let me know. We will definitely work on hanging out. Find a place to hang out. Maybe we can crash Gundam Pros or something like that. You could contact someone and might even use email. I might. I mean, it's not like I don't see him once a month when I'm at the meeting. So, but if I want to expedite it, I could just email him and just say, hey, George, I'd like to talk with you about this. Yeah. No smoke signals are care. Okay. See, again, old, frail, forgetful of stuff. I see you're making a jab at old people again, Peter. Thank you. Bastard. I mean, can't still sending smoke signals for how freedom works. God damn, Joe, that was good. Is that what that is? So those fires are basically smoke signals? Jesus, wow. I guess we can look at it positively, right? Oh my God. Fuck me, that was good. All right. Let's draw this out because I think this is going to be beneficial, at least to me, on what this is ultimately going to look like. Because this will also, I think, command what what scribing is going to look like down in, you know what? Fuck. Well, I forgot I want to do some up top here. I do want to do something up top here as well. The question is, what do I want to do up there? All right, I'm gonna scribe something, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna do this ideating here. Got it quicker than usual. Must have a clear day. Good on you, people. You know, there is something to be said about when the young like to pick on the old. Bastards. All right. First of all, I know I'm going to be doing some kind of what they call it, some kind of rivets around the entirety. We'll talk about this. So the entirety of this canopied area, all will have. Sorry, guys, I'm dyslexic. All will have some kind of riveting around that entire canopy. The circular area at the top, now that I've scribed inside of that scribe line, there will be some, and inside of the boxed area that I just drew, there will be some. The question is now, thinking about this shell, how would it be framed? And that's the thing that I appreciated about the photos that I took when Ray and I met down in at NEAM, the New England Air Museum. It's using, sorry, I'm going to clean out a line here. It's using those photos as a guide for what this will ultimately end up looking like. There we go. Cleaned. Didn't do a very good job here. There we go. All right, now it's clean. So the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to have like all sorts of rivets all over this thing. I want to be a little bit more about it, but I do know there's going to be, and I'll just draw it out real quickly. There'll be some kind of riveting. And the reason I'm doing this is that way I can see what it looks like. And in particular, when I do, sorry guys, when I do any of the rest of it. Okay. That I don't care about. I'm not going to do anything there. So I'm assuming there's going to be some framing structure that goes this way and some that goes this way. I think, oh, here we go. All right, so these details right at the top, that round detail and those rectangular details, have both kind of created a little bit of an idea here. So what I'm going to do is maybe about 2 millimeter, maybe a little bit more, 2.5 on either side of the round detail. I'm going to do riveting coming completely across the top. And that's going to be sort of like the core riveting. So there's a couple of support structure members that are there. I didn't want to do it across the top because then, kind of working around that circular detail and those rectangular details, I think that would look kind of bad. So there will be some kind of piece of stuff that's secured there. And then that would be the main structure. And then everything else might come off of that. So maybe something like, yeah, here we go. Just thinking about this a little bit. Maybe like a piece here. Something here. Sorry, my selection for that flight goof you sent me. Nice. Ooh. What do you got for chisels, Joe? What are you getting and where are you getting them from? There's going to be riveting around that. There we go. Now, a frame structure this way. Yeah, maybe coming across right to there. We'll see. That sounds pretty good. You guys got to take care of Dad. You all great day. And don't forget, I posted a new video. If you all get bored, guys, first of all, Tony, have a great day. My best to you and your family. Enjoy the day. And guys, yeah, do go watch Tony's stuff. It's really good, low-key, fun watch on a guy who enjoys building a model. Go watch Tony's stuff. See you, Tony. I don't think Edwin's leaving, is he? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yep, I got it. Yep, sorry. Nothing, no idea. I have some curved tip Tamiya 0.1 and 0.5 on hand now. 0.1 will definitely be beneficial for a 1/144 scale model. 0.15 would be 2. 0.1, 0.15, and 0.2 you can't go wrong with. There, Tony, we'll watch the rest later. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to be doing that as well. Around watching the Tour de France, which is really good. We're coming to the end of the second week. Man, it's been good. Ooh, that's going to be tough. Might be able to do that. That may be a little tough. If I come out maybe a little bit more, that might work up a little bit better. I'm going to bring this one out more than I did on the other side. Yeesh. Scary amount of riveting there. Yeah. Okay. Could do this. Yeah, so the members will be coming this way. Would that work? Not riveting. Not riveting. Nah. So far, so good. And I'm going to also probably go across this way too. Across this entire thing. There we go. All right, set that aside for a second. Get a hit of coffee. Damn. I'm an hour into this live stream and I'm less than an hour and I'm almost sucked down the entire coffee. God, I guess that tells you how exhausted I am. Okay. Let's take a peek at that. I like the stuff coming across. That one might come. Yeah, that one came on too close this way. It'll come this way. Let's take a look at this side. Framing structure. No framing here. That would literally all be. My guilty habit. I ate a bag of Kinder Bueno minis last night. What are those? And that what are those like a sweet thing or a salty thing? And did they create some problems, Joe? I mean, dude, we Trader Joe's has these triple ginger cookies, like the ginger snaps that are just awesome. And there have been times when it's just like I'm just sitting there watching TV and just popping them, and the next thing, and it's a vat. And I've eaten like half the vat. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna regret this. Yep. In the next, next hour or so, I'm regretting it. Okay. Yeah, instead of coming all the way across, just stop there. Try something here. Yep, 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 yep. Box section there. Those are all coming across. Good for that. Good for that. Good for that. That's gonna have to come over a little bit this way. Interesting. Those not no, they have to be in the same plane. They have to be in the same plane. Yeah, milk chocolate, wafer hazelnut. Problem I hate the whole bag. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Awesome, and at the same time, oh. All right. Once again, just trying to make sure that I don't overdo it on the riveting. Got structure this way, got structure this way. Actually, let me just take some of that off real quickly. What would support all of this here? We got that there. Hmm. Sorry, guys. I'm actually just looking to see. I'm going to remove this, flip it over to the other side. Pardonnez-moi. This is still coming across. Let's see. There's nothing as dangerous as a wounded bag of snacks. Must be destroyed and devoured immediately to protect the community. Nice. Yeah. Agreed, Peter. Currently working on my art for my tabletop games. Nice. Let me get started on my cyberpunk games as well. Cool. Man, you got a lot of stuff going on. Model work, gaming stuff, DMing, all that shit, Joe. Man, I'll tell you. I mean, that is what it's kind of all about. All right, do I want to do a line coming straight down? That I haven't decided yet. I might. If I did a line here, then I could also do riveting this way. Should be kind of interesting. All right, looking at this right now, looking at framing structures. So I got framing structure that comes across this way, stops there, comes across. Bang, 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 bang. I'm liking it. And in the end, doesn't matter. Gonna have to make a decision at some point, George. You just got to do something. In the 80s, you would have done a line. Doing lines, different lines, right, Joe? All right. Let's do it. Yeah. Here's the thing. Gonna have to do some, pull out the tape, get this thing ready. I gotta get some more Dymo. Man, this stuff's getting harder and harder to find. This embossing tape. Man. Getting harder and harder to find. All right. I could eliminate, let me eliminate 2 lines here, which I think will be beneficial. Eliminate that. Eliminate that. There we go. And instead, I'm going to bring this right across like that. Yeah. So then we'd have that, and then that. Yeah, that's better. And I think, yeah, that's kind of replicated on this other side. And then what we'll do is we'll just jump over this way. And we will straddle. That may not work. I might actually come down on the inside on this thing. We'll see. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. So this is a good start. Okay. Like I said, at some point, you're just going to have to make a decision as due. In the 80s, I didn't even exist. Are you serious, Charles? Charles, when were you born? And you don't have to say if you don't want to, but I'm kind of curious. If you were born in 1990, you would be what? 30, late 30s? 1990, fuck, man. 36 years old? 37 years old? 35? Fuck. Not much to miss other than the non-smoker section. Yeah. Anyway. So you're not Charles. I'm assuming you're just getting home now. Yeah, 36. Yeah, nice. Just getting home? Those are going to be the fun ones right there. No, I remember non-smoker sections. Really? Yeah. I'm not pressing down. I'm just kind of very quickly looking at rotating here. I may actually do this by hand too. May not even lay down tape. With this piece here, let's see if I can show you guys. So I've got 3 versions of the 0.75 pitch. Large wheel, small wheel, and sort of this one piece that's designed to go into corners. So you can go right up until to an edge where a wheel would stop like before, depending on the size of the diameter of the wheel. Let's see, just pulled in. Oh, nice. McDonald's ashtrays. Oh, God, I don't remember those. Even I don't remember those. I remember ashtrays at Dunkin' Donuts. Man, McDonald's ashtrays, shit. Remember our local Wendy's having an open floor plan, and the back was the smoking section. Yeah. All right, let's. Okay, I guess we'll put that lead wire away. I think I'm gonna have much more control over the small one than the large one. Back was the smoking section. Wow. All right. First thing we want to do. Let's see if I can do this very small section here. Got 2 rivets laid down. Sorry, guys. Give me a second here. I apologize. Oh, man, I can't see the tips. There we go. Got it. Okay. Now we're going to do the wheel across. Let's see. Oh, you're going to summon Beans sitting riveting. I know. He hasn't been on in the last couple days. Hoping everything is going well. It sounded like he had a pretty busy work week, at least early on in the week. Yeah. Well, we'll summon. Rivets. Anyway, how are you doing, Charles? How's the fam? Drifted a little bit here. I'm going to redo some of this and we'll fill it in. There we go. Did I just do it again? I have to fill some of that in and do it. Just kind of drifted up in the corner. I need to pull it down. How rude not showing up to your lives. Can't believe anyone would ever do that. Nice. 5 days a week are finally over. Moved to 4, and after next week, I'll be back to my usual 3s, hopefully. Yeah. How are things going, Charles? Hopefully the paycheck at least has been beneficial, but man, I got to tell you, more power to you. Ugh. Let's get this redone. Turn it this way just so I get a little bit better view. Still seems like it's pulling towards the line a little too much, but I think it'll do. Let me just use this tool here. I didn't realize how much more powerful this one is. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That's looking better. Nice. Vision is amazing, but it ain't worth the cost of my health. No, fuck no. I can feel the urge to want to do stuff again. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that it's coming to an end then. It's funny. I think we as Americans, right? We're like, of course, hey, put in the hours, put in the time, make the money, all good. And it's like, you know what? Yeah. And then your mental health, your personal time, all of that suffers. Yeah. Is it worth it? No. My wife and I were talking about that a couple days ago about, I come home now from work and I switch it off. Like, unless it's like something critical. My clients have like my phone number, so if they need to call or text, they will. Sometimes they do it a little too obscenely. But for the most part, I don't check work emails anymore. It's like I am done. Weekends are my time. I need that. And that might be selfish, as a guy who's supposed to be, salaried and doing all this, commission and everything like that. But it's like I need to distance myself from work. I will never let work define me anymore. That's a conversation my wife and I had a couple of days ago about I don't do that anymore. What do you do? I build scale models. I hike trails. Yeah, what do you do for work? An AV guy. That's what I do during the day, but it's not what I do. So I do to bring the money home. But it is not what I do to define who I am. There we go. Okay, those are done. Whew. All right, we got one set of rivets done. Lawyer's office got back with a lady and said they would appoint one to her this week. Oh, that's good. Charles, I'm assuming if they're appointing a lawyer, that means that they probably feel like there's a case. And I'm hoping this is one of those. It wasn't really work forcing me to work. It was covering for a guy who was, oh my God. And look at that. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Nick, what's going on, brother? Who's going to be out for a month for military stuff. So it was my choice. Sure. But you had a choice. And can I ask you a question? Could you just said, yeah, no? Work-life balance is a thing, but not often possible in society where all power rests with the employer. Yes, agreed. Yes, but that's starting to change, Peter. I'm hoping. I'm starting to feel like the needle is no longer continuing to move at that same aggressive pace towards the employer. This is why it's like when I read articles on Gen Z and millennials and all that stuff about, they don't have work ethic. It's like, no. They're trying to balance their work and their personal life. I respect that. And if they feel like their personal life is being impacted by work, yeah, no. We were both hoping that as well. It only took saying rivet 8 times. Yeah. Yeah, I could, but he covers. Yeah. Covers me when I need it as well. Okay. A whole facility covers ourselves usually because no one else will wither. Got it. All right, so that's good. So you're basically doing this is the same thing that Mike Wine is doing right now. He's working an evening shift at his new job because he's covering for a guy who's also out for, I think it's for medical reasons. It's wearing, but yeah. Well, I'm glad at least there was the benefit of an additional paycheck. That's good. What's going on, Nick? Nice of you to show up late. Anyway, hope all is well, man. I hope your work week was at least good and not painful. All right, we got the first set of rivets down, and I'm happy with how that looks. That's good. There is an area in here that I could try to repair. That's when I was scribing in, it just kind of notched in a little too high into an area. It's like I could, I'm not going to. If I have to, I'll use surfacer to kind of fill some of it in, but I'm not going to kill myself with it. Making sure put facility is covered because all of us do what we can to help. That's good. Hey, you know what? And that's the important thing, right? Even if management is going to fuck you, at least you guys can help yourselves so that the pain is going to be distributed rather than, focus on just one person. Hey, Nick, all is well in your pants? Oh, I'm sorry, parts. Yeah, I knew it was parts, but I had to say it. Okay. Good. All right, let's move on. We are going to now do, I think we're going to do the line that comes up this way. And this one's going to be interesting. I got to measure from where to where. Well, you have been opened, so you should be able to release. There we go. Let's put that away temporarily. You start at 6. I'm only 24 minutes late by my clock. Nice. Yeah. Dude, how's things? Hopefully you had a hopefully you got some rest. Let's put it that way. That's looking good. Okay. Those lines don't look like they're coming up to the same height. Surprisingly enough. Let's see. Let's get again, there's an unevenness to some of this model, so it doesn't surprise. Six. Yeah, it's less than 6. It's 5. Interesting. Let me try this again. Where did I pin this down? Oh, I see. It went up to the top. We got it. Okay, so yes, this will definitely be a different line. Okay. A wizard is never late. They always arrive exactly when they want to. Exactly. Dog was barking, or I would still be sleeping. Really, dude. Remove this line. We're gonna just redraw the line on here, just so I get a clear one step here. All right, now we'll measure. Another pus bucket. I didn't remove enough of this material before. Pencil material. There we go. There we go. All right, now let's measure. And this should be, what I say, 6. And it's 6. 6. And now it's at this point. 7.5. And that's 7. Okay, we're good. Easy on those 6s there, sir. Nice. All right. I don't think I'm going to have to redo some of this. I don't think yeah, I see what's going on. Nope, that's wrong. Nope. I got the points, but I think the in-between has to change. The center of the circle that I just drew would not make this a member that would actually work. I think it has to be more of a straight line. Yeah, that's what I got to do. So this is a straight line. There's that. There we go. Okay. Anyway, put that away, put that away. Let's grab this. Let's go to town. Try something here. Ooh. That loosened up a little bit. Just going to experiment with this to see if this will work a little bit more easily. That should be fine. There we go. There's one set. My friends, give me a second here. There we go. Oof. The only problem with doing that, man, I'm not sure how deeply those things went in. All right, let me take a quick break here. All right, guys, got stuff to prep for. Y'all have a good day. Charles, you too, brother. Enjoy your rest. Hopefully you get A little bit of an opportunity to just kick back. Kick back. There we go. All right. Got him. We're good. How are the rivets going? Okay. Um, I just started on the, so I got all the scribing done on sort of the head now, Nick. So all the lines are laid down. So now what I just did is I just kind of drew a bunch of lines on here, looking at this from a perspective of, okay, so what would this thing look like if it were, what's the framing on the head looking like? And I got most of that figured out right now. Uh, and then just kind of laying down some rivets. I'm doing them very judiciously, meaning that I started on the back because it's going to be the most innocuous, I guess. So I did riveting around the hinge, and I just did the lines that would come across, like if there were a member, so a supporting member on the head, kind of coming this way. But I did not go all the way across this top section here. Let's see if I can actually show you guys. If it'll pop in. Not, let me do it this way. So you guys can see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, you can see those lines right there. So the sanded lines that are not too far from the hinge, that are kind of coming up the backside there, those have now been scribed. So those are the lines that I scribed in. They look like shit from here. And you can see the pencil marks. That's where I'm thinking I'm going to be doing riveting. Thinking about how this thing is framed out. Can we expect? Yeah, I probably should. I haven't taken a lot of photos because I've been so focused on the details that I forget to do it. But yeah, Peter, I should. Yeah. And at some point, when again this thing all gets changed out, I will do some kind of a different camera, maybe a 2 camera system. We'll see. But I'm not going down that road right now. All right, so we got those. I think I'm going to do the members that come across this way before I do anything that comes across this way. I'm good with that. So this one's going to be interesting. This one I'm going to have to mark off because I'm looking at this. I know that my lines are not parallel, and I want to make them parallel. In fact, I like that one there. So let's do a quick little measure here. Okay, you got those laid down. Do the same thing on this side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have, I think, just eyeball it. Just eyeball a line across once I get the points kind of sussed. So the answer is yes, Peter, I should. Just bad. I've been, like I said, there are times when I'm like really good at taking photos, and then other times it's like, man, I'm just being a lazy shit. There we go. Okay. Grab a pencil. Let's go. So anybody working on anything at this time? Is anybody working on a model? That ain't right. That ain't right. Let's take a look at this again. 4. 4. 4. And not 4. Is anybody working on that? On with the day. Joe, take it easy, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, I might bail a little early today too. We'll see. Maybe another 10, 15. Maybe another 10, 15 minutes. But enjoy your day, Joe. Okay. Got that. That one was good. There. Okay. Then how far are we from this line? Just looking at this quickly. Sorry, my eyes just got blurry. I'm working on packing up models, got the wife to agree to moving the workbench to the bedroom. Really? Whose bedroom are we talking? Are you talking about your bedroom? Like actually doing model work in your bedroom or another bedroom? Nope, nope, nope. What I could do, I'm being dumb here. I'm being a dope. Just work off the center line. $5 mil. Let's get this guy anchored again. Our bedroom. If I had more bedrooms, I wouldn't be moving it. Wow. So you're going to be, that'll be interesting. Yeah, I kind of figured as such, but I just wanted to verify, Nick. But wow, that's fascinating. Fascinating. I don't know if I could work in my bedroom. I don't think I'd be able to sleep. And my wife wouldn't, and she'd shoot me. Yep, yep. Sorry, guys. Another moment here. Good enough. Working on moving my home office into my walk-in closet, clear up space for a proper hobby area, and very slowly working on the V33 Stork. Nice. We have a rather large master bedroom, and I don't stay up later than my wife. She's a night owl. Interesting. But I'm assuming, therefore, if she's the night owl and you wake up before her, I'm assuming, would you be able to work on a model in the morning? Or when would you guys actually be able to allow for you to work on a model? Curious. Nothing more, nothing less. Some kosher there. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that's right. I came in a little too far inboard. Quick measure. Be right there, guys. Sorry. 5. It's a pretty big fucking line. Inboard. Okay, we're good. Probably work on stuff in the evening. I'm not really a morning model working person. You're just a morning model working person watcher. All right, let's do this. Let's go across. In fact, we're going to start with the small guy. This is a little bit more manageable. Down here, I think it's more manageable. Okay. Jeez, don't want to drop that tool. Let's do a quick measure. 5, 5, 5. Just a hair shy of 5. I'm fine with that. Okay, let's go across. Continue to go across here. There we go. All right. I'm going to run that again in just a second, and then we'll do a little cleanup. Yeah. Just watching in the morning. Learning from an expert, are we? Talking to Tim yesterday about that. It's like, dude, it's like I'm a good modeler. I'll admit I'm a good modeler, but it's like I'm not in anywhere near like Tim's level. It's like, dude, I respect where you're coming from. I'd like to just talk about shit. You know, to me, this is like what when Juan was on earlier. This to me is sort of like an extension of having an in-person meeting. In fact, we're gonna do it this way. It's an extension of that. You know. In fact, I keep thinking it's like, you know, I mess up a lot. You know, in general, I'm getting a lot sloppier with the finish. Like on this thing here, I'm trying to get this thing done within a time frame, and therefore, and I'm not. It's not that I'm unhappy with the outcome. Not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't think this is going to be that. You know, if this is not going to be a GBWC or IPMS contender for, you know, best construction. And I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, I drifted there. There we go. What is the brand model? Yeah, I'll show you in just a second, Peter. We'll show you in just a second because, yeah, I absolutely, if you're looking to do any kind of riveting, I would absolutely encourage the purchase of these things. They were relatively inexpensive versus I know that there's other tools out there. And I'll show you in just a second. I just want to just do a little bit of cleanup here. I did deviate, and partly the reason I deviated is because I'm dealing with let's just go like that. There we go. I deviated because I got the shoulder in the way. All right, I'll do a little bit of cleanup on that in a second. But so far, I'm liking the way this is getting laid down. All right, Peter. So These are by a company called Galaxy Tools. Let's see. And they make a variety of these. So notice this one, first of all, it's 0.75, 0.65, 0.55 pitch, right? And that the wheel is large. They also make this version, same pitch, in a smaller wheel format. And the wheels are great for just kind of coming across the surfaces. But when you get into the corners, that's where, same thing, the pitch on these things is the same, 0.55 to 0.75, but you can now go right into a corner. And they make these in 3 different pitches. So here is the 1 to 1.5, 1.25 and 1.5. Hopefully that'll just kind of show up. There it goes. Across all 3 of those. And you can actually see, like, even on the extreme one on this side, I mean, that's pretty aggressive, right? It's pretty open, which would be great for larger scale. And they also make an even smaller one, 0.3, 0.4, and 0.5. Sorry, it's that reflection that's causing the problems. And the company, again, is called Galaxy Tools. Sorry, it didn't come across very well, but these are 0.3, 0.4, and 0.5. So these are even smaller in pitch than what we have here. And looking at those things, those are tiny. So if I were doing something in, let's say, 1/144 scale, I would probably end up using something like this. But so far, again, this is the first time I'm kind of using these things fairly extensively. They seem to be doing pretty well. I'm kind of curious as to how. I believe the wheels are made out of stainless steel. It's a stamped stainless steel. I'm hoping that they'll have longevity to them, especially when pushing into like this. I mean, this plastic here is a very dense plastic, so I'm hoping they'll hold up over time. But I mean, so far so good. They are really making the chore of doing this. Yeah, very easy. All right, I'm cleaning out the lines. And then we're going to go in and do a little bit more pressing in. Okay. Let's just get some of the holes cleaned out. In fact, I might even go in and do any more. I'm happy with that. Man, those, I got to tell you, those do look good. In fact, I'm going to hit this up with some pencil mark. I'm going to see if this will actually come through now. All right, I'm going to pull this out. Let's see if you guys can see these lines. I hope you can, because they actually came out pretty damn good. Oh, there we go. Okay, you can see right at the top, right below that circle, you can see the line that I just kind of put in. And you can see the lower lines near the hinges. Top ones seem to be coming up probably a little bit. There we go. When you can see the glare, the riveting off the glare, it actually looks pretty good. Sorry, guys, dyslexia, so I'm totally fucking this thing up, I'm sure. Let's see if we can actually catch it this way. when the camera decides to go all kablooey. Anyway, it's looking pretty good. All right. So, yeah, I do recommend. I hope they meet Nick's approval because this is riveting. He's over here. He's over here. Close that up. Close that up. Later, fellas. Time to start the day. Alrighty, Nick. Have a good one, brother. Enjoy your day, my friend. Enjoy your day. Like I need you to tell you that, but I want to do it anyway. Okay, let's do the front side. I couldn't see them on my phone. Fuck. All right. I'll try to take some photos of them and try to post them. I might try to find another place to post them rather than YouTube too. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. I could potentially open up the okay, real quickly. Would anybody be interested if I opened up my album? I could make it public for the photos that I'm taking for this thing. That might be not a bad idea. Just I got a Google Photos. I can just open, like I said, open up the calendar. That might work best. We'll see. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this. I'm going to go to 0.5. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this. I'm going to go to 0.5. Wow, that's off. And what I mean by off is like my hand drawn original. Do it. All right, Edwin, I'll do that. I'll try to make it public. And I think I can make it public open to anybody. I don't give a shit who sees it, obviously. So I'll see if I can look into that and maybe make that happen because that's normally like I got a bunch of those that are there, videos as well of anything that's been shot around this thing. I'm trying to just dump into that. Part of the reason why I'm doing that as well is if this thing goes as well as I hope it does, even though it's not going to be an IPMS competition winner, I'd like to maybe publish this in the IPMS journal. Talk about the process behind it. We'll see. All right, let's just draw the line here all the way across. Whew. Do it. Let's do some measuring. Making sure my hand drawing actually came out good, and so far it looks good. Looks better than the original, that's for damn sure. Needs to come out a little bit. Same here. Always wife probably getting ready to go to her ceramics class, which we saw this. We went to the place that she does her work last night. That was a terrific outing. Terrific outing. All right, we're almost done here. Just doing another quick check. Yeah, those are good. Over here, I just got to go to the outside, but then swing on in. So far, so good. Let's do this. Okay, gonna stop there for a second. Turn this. Let's continue on. Sorry, just gotta obviously get in the tines, the teeth into the existing holes. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna use the small wheel to complete some of this. I can hear George's back creaking again. Nice. Speaking of backs, how's yours doing, Peter? Come up pretty good. Now we're gonna wrap up with this. It's gonna go this one here, just a little off from the last one, so I'm gonna try to a little bit more cleanup here. Just gonna sand this real quickly to see how this looks. Looks like I might have just been off by a smidge. Yeah, but not so much so that it's going to be problematic. All right, let's get right to the ender and then clean this out. I'm going to probably end up to, I'm not sure I'm going to be dropping thin cement. Into, one second, guys. Sorry, give me a second. Yeah, it's good. I'm not sure I'm going to be dropping thin cement into the riveted area, but I will be doing it in the panel lines. I might do that before I bail today. There we go. That's looking good. I'm just going to come across this way. This one might have to, we'll see. So far, so good, but it looks like the riveting is off a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to leave that be just like that. Okay, we're good. Better. I've been told to be a patient. Oof. Discuss protrusions. Discus protrusions. So whatever time required to fix non-surgically via rehab. Yeah, good luck with that, Peter. All right, man. We are done. I think for the day. So we've gotten a lot of good scribing done here. The only thing I will do is I will work on. You know what? Let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna start on this. I'm not sure I'm gonna finish on it, but let's see. I'll try to do a little bit of scribing. I'm sorry, of the rivets right here. The rivets right here. Just gonna do this this one little area right up top here. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna do this one rectangular area, and then we're gonna call it done. Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be a slow process, Peter, but I'm hoping that it'll go smoothly for you. I'm hoping it'll go well. You know, did they provide you with any kind of a time frame for how long before you'll be in a much better place? Last pass. Oh, yeah, we are going to call it after this. There we go. There we go. Done. As long as you fix it, I'll be grateful. Yeah, nice. Praying for you, man. How's that looking? Well, a little too far to the edge on this one, a little too far on the inside on this one. Let's see if I can fix some of that. I might be able to do that. Just going to very gently try to bring these holes in a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's good. Very gently going to bring these holes out a little bit. There we go. Awesome. Done. I got a couple of rivets that kind of strayed a little bit, but I can fix those at a later point when we get to surfacer. All right. So right now, I've got riveting across the hinged area. Great. Across that member, this member, this member. Liking it. I got boxed in on this area and this area. I think off camera, I'm going to try to figure out what to do around the circle. I don't know. I will probably have to do some kind of measuring. Look, what does I say? This is 0.55. No, this is 0.75. It's not even the smallest. I might do the 0.75 and just kind of measure around and just do it by hand in order to make it look like it's appropriate. But gotta have to do some measuring to make that happen. I don't think. Just take a look here. I don't believe I can do this. It's such a tight curve. Could I go around and do this by hand? I'm thinking probably not. My feeling on this is I could probably break some of the teeth, and I really don't want to do that. It's such a small, tight circle. I just don't think it would be the best way to do it, but we'll experiment later. All right, friends, time for me to get going here. Calling it a session. Stay safe and stay sane, everybody. Thanks for being on this morning. I really do appreciate it. Guys, go out there and do good. Brighten the world as much as you possibly can. Show kindness, love, and respect for everyone. It doesn't matter who they are. You might not agree with them, and that's okay. Just don't vilify people. Like I said, it's this name calling and this nastiness that's out there. We need to put that to an end. So instead, go out there and brighten the world as much as you can. Show kindness, love, and respect. Do good, enjoy the day, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.